What's up, MVT Nation? Bobby here from Muscle vs. Tuner, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about something that as a car guy I got to experience for the first time about a month ago. Now, being my first time, there were some things I didn't know, some things I had to look up, and some things I found out when I was at the event. So today, if you're either a noob at drag racing or if you're fairly new to drag racing, then this video is going to be for you. If you've been to a drag strip several times or even maybe once, this video may not be for you. But this is to all the new guys who are going to be going to the drag strip the first time and don't want to embarrass themselves and make themselves look silly. So today we're going to talk about what you do and what you don't do when you go to the drag strip. So the first thing, and probably the most important thing, is safety equipment. So most drag strips require closed-toed shoes, long pants, and your standard helmet. Now if your car goes a certain speed, then you require a roll cage or a parachute. But if it's your first time at the drag strip, I doubt you're going to be doing any of that. So remember to wear pants, closed-toed shoes, and the helmet part. Okay, so most helmets, whether it be motorcycle helmets, well, actually just motorcycle helmets, usually have a DOT rating. Now for cars, I believe this is right on the NHRA website if the track goes by those rules. If your car is 10 seconds or slower, which most of us will be, then you need at least a Snell M2015 rated helmet. Now Snell M2015 is actually for motorcycles, but they allow you to wear these when you're drag racing, as long as your car isn't faster than 10 seconds. When it gets faster than 10 seconds, you'll need a Snell SA2015, which is specifically for auto racing and things of that nature, which you could go ahead and get one of those, but they're a bit more expensive. So when I heard about this, I got this helmet. So I got this helmet to take with me to Cecil County Dragway. This is a Snell M2015 rated helmet, and it's Captain America. It's kind of gay but cool at the same time, and I liked it. So this helmet works perfect for my car. Considering my car wasn't running faster than 14 seconds that day, except for one pass, I didn't even have to end up wearing this. But if your car is running faster than 14 seconds, which is very likely, make sure you have a helmet. But most drag strips will require you to have a helmet, so make sure you get one. Plus, they're pretty cool. Alright, so the next step after you get the safety stuff in line is probably your car. If you have bigger tires you'd want to put on, make sure to put those on. And if you plan on doing burnouts, I didn't whenever I went, but if you have drag radials or you plan on doing burnouts because your car needs to have better traction, what a lot of people do is they take masking tape and tape up their rear quarter panels. So the reason people do this is when you're going to be doing burnouts, it obviously melts rubber and it throws it all up the side of your car. So if you mask that area off, which is mostly affected when you're doing a burnout, then when you get done at a long day at the drag strip, you can simply peel it off and not have to worry about getting dried rubber off your car. Alright, so you have all your prep done. You got your safety equipment, you got fat tires on the rear, you got your rear quarter panels masked off. Well, not your whole rear quarter panels, but behind the tire anyways. And you're ready to go to the drag strip. So you'll get to the drag strip. It depends on what drag strip you go to. You'll get teched in. How they do that is their own process. And basically look over your car, look over, make sure you got a helmet, make sure it's Snell approved, all this good stuff. And then you are ready to race. So when you're ready to race, they'll have you pull into the burnout box. Now the burnout box itself has a patch of water. They'll be taking a water hose and spraying water down. Now if you're not doing a burnout, make sure to drive around this so your tires won't get wet. If your tires get wet, it'll limit your traction. And this is purely for the burnout people only. Now if you're doing a burnout, they usually pull you up into the burnout box and make sure your rear tires are in the water. And once you start doing your burnout, you get your tires spinning and then you roll out of it as you're still doing your burnout, so that you'll get all the moisture and stuff off of your tires and you'll go into the prep that is on the drag strip. Now, if you try doing a burnout and you don't do it in the burnout box, the water box, then something like this might happen. If you don't want to break stuff, it's usually your diff that's going to go. But if you don't want to break stuff, make sure to do your burnout in the burnout box and you are good to go. So you'll roll up and then you will start staging. Now, as a first timer to a drag strip, let me tell you that whenever you pull up and the first light, you're pre-stage, so that means you're getting close basically in noob terms. And once you hit the stage, and your other, your racing partner or whoever you're racing against the stage, that tree will count down so fast that before you realize it, your racing partner is already at the end of the drag strip eating your mom's ass out. So, whenever you pull up, you'll have the first pre-stage, and then when you get staged, if your partner's staged, it's almost instantly that the tree starts counting down and you need to be ready. Now, I didn't get that good of a time whenever I went, but from my understanding, like reaction time, we're speaking, from what I was told, if you leave on green, then you're leaving too late. So you have to kind of anticipate when it's going to turn green, and you might break out. I didn't break out because I was a pussy. You want as close as you can get. Anything under 1.5 seconds, I would call a pretty decent reaction time, considering you're not like a NHRA funny car dragster driver or something. But I was hitting 0.3 seconds all day, and that was pretty bad. So if you can get it under 2 seconds, I would say that's a pretty decent reaction time, and you can stick with that. Now, when you get your drag slip, there's a few things on it that you need to know. Now, I'm going to go over a 1/4 mile drag slip. An 1/8 is basically the same. It's just an 1/8 mile drag strip instead of a 1/4 mile drag strip. So your first number is your reaction time usually, and like I said, anything under 2 seconds you're doing or anything under 0.2 seconds you're doing pretty good. The next is your 60 foot. So your 60 foot is usually what judges how well you launch the car. So it's the first 60 feet of the race, and I was hitting around 2 seconds flat that day. Mine stayed really consistent because I had no wheel slip whatsoever. But if you have a high horsepower car, the 60 foot is probably the most critical of your entire run. The 60 foot determines and sets the tone for the time you're ultimately going to run. So the next slot, you'll see the 330 foot slot. Now your 330 is basically a combination of your 60 foot where you're trying to launch the car and get off the line fast. And by the 330 foot, you should have everything under control. Unless you're in like a 2,000 horsepower Miata or something, you should have your shit under control when you get to the 330 foot. And your 330 foot isn't as important as your 60 foot, but once again, your 60 foot determines what your 330 foot is. But don't worry about the 330 foot too much. A lot of people skip by it. The numbers you want the most are your reaction time, 60 foot, and your end 1/8 or 1/4 mile time. So the next important number to look at is the 1/8 mile time. Now, a lot of tracks, at least where I live, are going to 1/8 mile, and 1/8 mile is becoming more prevalent, as the years go on. And as far as 1/8 mile numbers go, I think my car ran like a 10.1 or 10.2 or something in the 1/8 mile. I don't know. Don't cite me on that. My car is slow, I know. But 1/8 mile is usually what a lot of tracks run, and so that's your third important number. Now the next number, if you're doing 1/4, is probably the most important to you. Now, whenever I ran my car in Cecil County, I was running about 100 mile per hour. My trap speed was 100 miles an hour. That's the first bit of information you would like to know, is your trap speed and your time. Now your trap speed is basically how fast your car can get down the track. I know, it sounds stupid, but let me explain. So if your car is trapping 140 miles an hour, and your opponent is trapping 140 miles an hour, and your opponent has a 9.7 second quarter mile and you have an 11-second quarter mile, then I guarantee you your 60 foot is trash compared to your opponent. Your mile per hour trap speed basically determines how fast your car is capable of going down the drag strip. And your actual time is a matter of how fast your car is and how well you have your 60 foot down and the launching and all of that. That being said, some baseline numbers of what some cars run. I was running around a 14-second flat. It was a hot day. Riley RP Productions with his 6-speed 6th-gen Camaro was running around a 12.5-ish. Nick, his 950 horsepower Z01, 1,000 horsepower, something like that, it's around there, was running a 9.5 at like 140, which is completely crazy. His car is badass, and yeah, if you have a car like his, if you're running that fast, you're probably not watching this video. Alright, so most tracks are going to be fairly busy, so you're not going to be able to get runs in from back to back to back. But if you do, like the drag strip I was at in Cecil County, where there's a limited amount of people racing, if it's hot out and your times keep getting slower and slower and slower, I promise it is not your fault. It is the infamous heat soaking issue that all drag racers face. So you'll see some guys in the pits who will get a giant bag of ice and throw it on the top of their engine of their car just to try to cool things down. Other less extreme options is just leaving your hood open for 5-10 minutes to try to get some of the heat out and ultimately let your car run faster times. So as far as a new person's first day at the drag strip, I believe I've covered all the basics. Now I'm sure there's stuff I'm leaving out, and if I was wrong on anything I said, if you have more experience than me at the drag strip, let me know down in the comments. But hopefully if you watch this video and you're going to a drag strip here soon and it's your first time, you won't make yourself look foolish, or you'll feel more confident when you're going there. Unlike me, I could have 1 second reaction time the first time I pulled up to the tree. So if you're going to a drag strip, it's an awesome place to figure out what your car can do and do it legally and not have to go to Mexico and do races like some people we know. But it's a great place to meet a lot of cool people and make new friends. And if you all have any funny, embarrassing drag strip stories of maybe the first time you went or something like that, then make sure you let me know down in the comments. I'd like to read some of those. So that's all I have for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was kind of informative. But with that being said, make sure to follow my Snapchat. It's right here, fam. I've been more active lately, and I'm going to be doing a Q&A sometime soon after this video is uploaded. So make sure to add me if you want to ask me questions on there. And I'll catch you all later. Have a good day.
Tell him I woke up and we still popping. The ringtone going out because these hoes calling. My numbers on the rise now, no they never falling. We gon' keep the critics listening while I stay dropping. Hey, I woke up and we still popping. The ringtone going out cause these hoes calling. My numbers on